You can't make me. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Pregame Show, live from the Xfinity Studio. We've got Bailey and Rudo coming to you as the Avs are taking on the LA Kings in LA. The easiest back-to-back road trip, the easiest back-to-back road trip in the West.
I was going to say, especially as far as travel goes.
Yeah.
Like that one's fun.
You don't even switch hotels for this one, I don't think.
Not at all.
It is a back-to-back, but the Avs at least got that going for them. LA on the front half of this one. LA is a weird team. I don't really know what to make of them. They've gone out and sold some guys. They bought some guys. They've had injuries. They're crashing out of the Pacific Division, which is bad. I don't know.
Yeah, it's especially with the anomalies that have kind of hit them through the Olympics and before and after.
Out of their control for sure. Yeah.
Some injury woes, some bench coaching woes, which has been fun to kind of watch go down for a little bit. They're kind of a wild card for me, I think, especially in terms of expectations for what this matchup could be. Because you've got the Avs that I think are still, in a way, kind of finding their footing, trying to find like some sort of, gel with the guys who went off to the Olympics versus the guys who stayed behind to condition, whatnot, versus a team that really is trying to figure out what their identity looks like for the rest of the season. Like, I don't know. I would rather be in the Avs spot than the King spot. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. This is true.
We do have the Avs injury report as well, though, which nothing really new here. Just continuing to update you on Logan O'Connor continuing to be in the mystery box, and Kiviranta, it's a concussion. We list it day to day because he could be back tomorrow, or he could be back never. That's how concussions work, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Hopefully closer rather than farther away, but we're not 100% sure. That's all the Avs are really dealing with at this point, at least things that they're dealing with that are enough to keep guys out of the lineup. So not really enough injuries to have any excuse when it comes to gelling on that front. You have all your best players, right? Yeah,
absolutely. If this is the worst it looks for the Avs, like I'm happy. Yeah. Like it sucks that it's Kiviranta because you're talking about a guy who knows how to play on the PK, very good defensive forward as far as that runs. And I don't know, maybe I'm the, optimist here. And he had a really good Olympics. I'm really excited to see I was really excited to see how that translated, like directly out of the break for him, to see if he could find some of that footing, to replicate some of that in an Avs jersey. But
the hockey god said no.
No. Yeah, that was a negative Ghost Rider. So it sucks for Kiwi. Hopefully it's one of those situations that doesn't keep him out long. Concussions are weird like that, as you mentioned. So really no idea. He did skate today, which is
improvement.
Like that's just part of the concussion protocol. You've got certain steps you need to take. But seeing him in a red no contact, that's about as on the right direction as you can get.
Yeah. Take what you can with that. Hopefully he gets fully better. Of course, our injury report is brought to you by Common Spirit. Go check them out at mountain.commonspirit.org. They are the official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. See the difference that compassion makes with Common Spirit Health. Avs. Bailey, they're 2-1 out of the break. Mm-hmm. How would you grade the Avs' return to play here? Because it's certainly not an A for me.
No. I'm getting uber specific here. I'm probably at a B-.
Yeah.
As far as effort goes, like as far as, the on ice product that we're getting, I don't think is horrible. Like, yes, there's some things to clean up the power play comes to mind, but that's different conversation for a different segment. No, but as far as the on ice product, you're getting really good 5-on-5. You're getting, for the most part, decent production down all 4 lines. You've got a Gavin Brindley activating again, which I think is huge. You've got a Ross Colton who I think stepped back pretty well into the role he left off on heading into the break, which is huge. Whether that's for, getting that version of Ross Colton back for the rest of the regular season run into the playoffs, or whether that's increasing some sort of trade bait, we don't know yet. But getting any productive version of Ross Colton back, I think, is fine. If that's how the Avs are operating, like that, I'm all cool with that. Like that's the version we've seen. Even the Minnesota game, the one that they lost, like that's the game we're sitting there expecting to be like if we drop this one, or if we see the boys drop this one, like it's okay. That's 2 points. It sucks that it's against a division rival, but they did their job for the back-to-back. And that's a game that they were this close to winning.
Well, and that's what I want to get into next, right? Is I don't think you can really have much problem with the underlying 5-on-5 play against Minnesota. But how do you convert that 5-on play into things like scoring first, or at the end of the game, simply scoring more than you are? Because you look at the first game back against Utah, they got enough goal scoring that you feel happy with it. And then the following 2 games, it cost you pretty badly in Minnesota. Again, not that we're super concerned about it, but you could have won that game if you scored even just one more goal at 5-on-5, or at very least, it's a very different game. And then you have the Chicago game, which you do eventually break through on, but it takes you a while.
I think for me, it just kind of comes back down to that gelling.
Okay.
That's why I kind of give it a B-, because yes, you're getting decent production across all 4 lines. But as far as chemistry goes, I think there's still an extra step to be taken to get back to the point that they used to be at, and to get back to that, we need energy and we need it early kind of mindset. Yeah. Whether you're getting that from, top line Martin Netchus or Nathan MacKinnon, who I think is still trying to find his groove in an Avs jersey coming back.
Pretty clearly, I would say, yeah.
It doesn't matter who you're getting it from, but I think that energy and that chemistry factor plays more of a role coming back, especially when you look at, again, just how split this Olympic versus non-Olympic group was. Like, I feel like can be a fairly difficult assimilation back from break-in.
Definitely.
I think that's maybe playing more of a factor than people expect it to.
If I came back from an 8-hour plane ride, I'd be out for a month. I have no chance.
These guys are monsters. Yeah. But that's, I guess, the point that I'm trying to make is not only do you have that fatigue factor, but again, you've got guys who are out. They didn't get much rest.
No.
There was not a lot of rest
Almost
to be
none.
had.
Yeah.
And then again, you have this group who stayed back in Denver, went on their vacations. If you're Parker Kelly, you went whale watching, which I guess is fun, and you get to tell everybody about it. Had a really cool video to show us. It was great. But everybody's in different headspaces as far as coming back and what that transition back into regular season hockey looks like. And that takes time to adjust to and get back on. It's easier said than done.
For sure.
Right. I think, and looking at that, it takes more than 3 games, I think, to get back on in that headspace. And then you add Kulak to everything, and taking Girard away from all of that. Girard was a big piece of that locker room.
True.
So
Matters.
I think that's also, there's a lot of moving parts here.
We've seen Gavin Brindley score a big goal the other game. First game back, you get a goal out of Victor Olofsson. I'm going to say you can't say Nathan MacKinnon because that's cheating. Is there someone else you want to see get on the board with an actual goal?
Valeri Nichushkin. That's my easy
Yeah.
answer. Even if it Nathan MacKinnon was on the board for me, he can go and score whenever. He's got enough points he's got enough points in these last 3 games for me to be like, all right, you're good. No, Valeri Nichushkin's somebody who I think is a little snake bitten. If you're looking at, moving parts, on ice product has been decent for him. Just struggling to find the back of the net for whatever reason. It has nothing to do with his motor being broken or for him not doing what he needs to do on the ice. But yeah, if we're talking about guys who I think need to find the back of the net tonight for not just any kind of goal, but like a big, like game-changing type goal, like I'd put my money on Blair Nichushkin.
A goal that gives you the lead is a little different than making it 5-1 or something for sure. So that does matter a little bit. We can pull up the team cards here. As always, the Avs one got a lot of ones on it, a lot of good blue color. They're a really good hockey team. I think it is important to note, even in this pregame, we're talking about a very small sample size of, hey, the Avs probably need to do a better job of scoring in the last 3 games. They're still the highest scoring team in the NHL across the course of the season. So there's reason to believe they'll be just fine in that category.
Especially against the LA Kings. I have no doubt.
The Kings are not good. They have pretty good defense and goaltending, right? They will be able to grind you a little bit, but their offensive ability is frankly not very competitive. They don't score well. They don't score well on special teams. Frankly, they just don't do anything in the offensive zone very well, especially now that, as we talked about earlier, missing a guy like a Fiala. Their entire team seems to be in flux at the moment a little bit. A team on paper the Avs should absolutely beat.
Yeah. No, again, I think for this one, kind of relying on the chaos factor here, which could either go very well for the Avs or very, very badly. We're also talking about a pretty late start.
It is.
As far as, most of the Avs time clock is on.
Yeah.
So like when you talk moving parts, like this is about as fluid as it gets.
For sure. To some extent, you expect the Avs to just overcome those things. And I think chaos in general is something that when the Avs have been at their best this season, bad bounces haven't affected them. They've been able to win those games regardless. Up to the break, there was less of that. On the other side of the break, there's been some give, some take there. I do think we've seen a pretty comfortable and confident Avs team, even if they did come up a little bit short in the Minnesota one. So I would like to see the Avs continue to be that resilient team. I think resilience is the word we talked about so much in the early part of the season. If they go out and bop the Kings today, great. I'm happy. But you also want to see them grit it out.
Absolutely. And that comes down, for me, top line matchups too. Like Bednar kind of talked about it this morning too, and saying like in an ideal situation, you want to run all 4 lines. And
for sure.
Something
and not
I think
Brindley
the Avs,
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So ideally you want to be able to run all 4 lines, and that goes into gritty wins. But also if you've got, a fourth line playing bleh and Nathan MacKinnon's going God mode for whatever reason, maybe tonight's the night that he figures out how to do that again in an Avs jersey. Be really nice if that's the way to grit it out, is you've got that top line scoring, and that can kind of show off too. Especially too, you're talking about a top line for on the other side of the ice that has an Artemi Panarin who has 3 assists in 3 games.
Yeah. Again, Kings are in a weird spot there, but you have to take the best players seriously or they will burn you. That's part of the deal. Jared Bednar was at morning skate. I have as much trouble with time as the Avs do with these time zones. Was at morning skate. We did get sound from him, so let's hear his thoughts on this back-to-back.
Good article.
I was just apologizing to him for some other media members' BS, but anyway.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I guess just you like the game from your team against Chicago. Just what are you looking for out of the group here tonight?
Similar stuff. I think I think they're missing a bunch of guys, impact players for their team up front, back end, and they just gone through a coaching change, and that's going to help. Their team's going to dig in here. They're going to play hard, right? So, number one, we got to be highly competitive. We got to match or exceed their work ethic. And then I like to see everyone play well so we can use the depth of our lineup to our advantage. I think it's a big part of it. So to me, that's having a great start, trying to build a lead so we can play everyone, especially when it comes to back-to-back situation like this. But I think if we keep doing the similar things that we did in the Chicago game, then to me it started with a real strong defending mentality. We were suppressing shots, suppressing chances real well. It still got dangerous on the other side of it. It's a good recipe for success.
So, seemed like maybe a little bit of a different look on the power play. I know we talked to you about it with Nate being out that one game. Just what have you thought of maybe a little bit of a different look at it?
I think we're flexible there. It's some of the things that we've really dug in on coming out of the break. We've talked about multiple times before. We didn't necessarily like how our team was getting to the set and filling positions and doing it rapidly and doing it with ease. So we've just been hammering home on some of the things that we want to do, and I really liked it last game. I liked it a lot, not just because we scored at the end of the one power play, but just the things we were doing. We're attacking from different positions on the ice. There was guys changing positions, but someone was always in the right spots. We had good pressure to the net, and we want to continue that. And guys are sharing ideas and talking a lot, and just really trying to get everyone on the same page and really hammer home on those details so it translates to the ice.
There's a new coach, and you're the first team to play that team. Does anything change pre-scouting wise, just because you don't?
No. We would have no idea if they're changing something, we wouldn't know it anyway, so we'll just keep an eye on their systems as we go on the fly. But I don't think it's a lot of time to start implementing new systems when it happened yesterday and they're playing today. They may tweak a couple things. They may approach it differently, but I think it's going to come down to them really digging in, and especially with the change and some of the guys they have out of the lineup. You're going to see a strong work ethic and competitiveness from the guys that are playing tonight from their group.
Nate said he was dealing with a couple things when he was in Italy.
Yeah.
When he comes back, and obviously you guys give him a game off. Just how have you sort of handled is maybe not the right word, but just he last year he comes back from Four Nation, he's the MVP of the tournament, he wins the gold medal, and then this time it's they obviously had this crushing loss, and he had the open net, and just how have you sort of handled it, kind of getting him back in the groove here?
I haven't done anything differently than I would treating him like he was with our team the entire time. I keep an open line of communication with not only Nate but all the other guys, especially the guys that play a ton of minutes, right? Because I may be thinking yesterday's a practice day and they're exhausted, so I don't have to play the games, so I can always be ready for practice. But those guys, depending on how I want them to listen to their bodies and do what's smart so they're rested and ready to go for tonight. And that's the way I treat Nate and Kale and all the big minute guys, and even the guys that don't play that much sometimes throughout the course of the years. Just listen to them, and then I kind of make the best plan of action after I talk with those guys.
Val, the metrics that we have access to, they're all still really good, but the goals have been harder to come by.
Yeah.
How do you kind of judge that as a coach, where he's doing a lot of the right things, but the puck's just not going in?
Yeah, I like his work ethic. I like his his attention to detail on most nights within the structure of the game. He's still very trusted players. I feel like he's been beating the puck up a little bit this year. It just hasn't been real easy for him to handle it and make plays. But the effort is there. I've noticed some things in his game earlier on, too much trying to make plays while not moving. I think when you see Val at his best, he's moving his legs. He's in, and the puck stays with him because he's driving his legs. It's hard for players to check him, and he can keep coming up with pucks out of scrums, with pressure on him, all the different situations. And there's been times this year where he hasn't been skating the way I want him to skate. We've talked about it multiple times. He's come out the other side really well. I know he's been dealing with a little bit of an issue with his wrist at times. That seems to be better now. And he said he feels like he's kind of turning the corner in that regard, so I expect some production to come with that. But I can't judge him too harshly because scoring, sometimes they come in bunches, and hopefully that's the case for Val, that he gets hot and gets a little bit more confidence and starts to put the puck in the net.
Just one more about Nate. Obviously you guys have this crazy schedule, but you've said, you're still pushing for first place, and then all these things. There's like, how do you sort of envision it going with it? Like, is he just going to play every game, or until you guys have things locked?
Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
or I guess maybe good luck trying to keep him out of the lineup.
I guess I should have. I meant like more like ice time. Then obviously he's going to play every game.
Well, I mean, in an ideal situation, we go build a lead every night and we run 4 lines and it's not that taxing. But, like there's going to be nights when we need to rely on those guys heavily. I'm not going to do it too early in games. I'm not going to do it if everyone's playing real well. Like, that's up to me to recognize and understand how our team's playing, what our chances are to win without sort of overtaxing our top guys. But there's going to be nights where we need them heavily, and then we'll try to rest them as much as possible. It's kind of the responsibility of the whole team. Everyone comes to play well and start on time and get the first goal, and we can use our lines as we see fit as coaches and try to make sure everyone's rested and ready to go for the next night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. We know how Bednar operates. When the Avs have a lead, he'll roll all 4 lines. When they're chasing, he does like to shorten that bench a little bit. To help the Avs get the lead, the goalie matchup tonight is Mackenzie Blackwood for the 3rd straight game for the Avs. Obviously, it's a back-to-back, so we expect Wedgwood to go tomorrow night. But Blackwood probably pretty high on the list of quality returns to action for the Avs across this stretch, no?
Especially given what some of his returns after breaks have looked like.
Usually a
this
slow
season.
starter for sure.
Definitely one. I don't normally have as much confidence in a Mackenzie Blackwood after a long break like that as I have the last couple, and he's looked phenomenal, especially during that Chicago game. I was blown away with some of those saves he was making, the performance that he put on. I mean, it's huge when you're looking at a game, especially like a Chicago, maybe, in other situations, a Minnesota Wild goes the other way. He's the difference maker.
Yep.
Right. In that situation. And I love that as we're getting down to the stretch, Bednar's already confirmed, like, this is our starting guy. Like, this is what this is turned into. They've already got games pretty scheduled for Wedgwood for the rest of the regular season. I will be very shocked if he plays during the playoffs.
Yeah, unless something bad has happened.
Right. Just because they've put all of their eggs into Mackenzie Blackwood's basket.
Yep.
For the remainder of the season. And if this is the kind of level that he's going to continue to play on,
great.
I don't see a problem with that at all.
So you have Blackwood. We kind of already talked about the Avs needing to gel a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you find that line of, we saw Bednar tinker a little bit with the lines the other day to figure some things out. There's that constant conversation of who is that third guy on the top line. Is it Landy? Is it Nichushkin? Is it Lehkonen? Do you think the Avs should tinker a little bit more with the top 6, or are we still a ways off from that?
I'm going to give a weird answer here, I think. I think some of that depends on what happens at the trade deadline with their 3C.
That's fair. You have your complete lineup at that point. Yeah.
Like, if you're looking at, okay, like a complete like 12 or 13 or however that wants to roll,
Sure.
like, what does that look like? Chemistry, again, obviously becomes a factor here in looking at, okay, like, who's going to work on that third line? Like, if you're looking at moving around the top 6, like, what does that configuration look like? Is there anybody who maybe could work better on that third line and you get de-escalated in favor of maybe moving a Brindley up or whatever it might look like? It's really fluid right now. So I don't think any sort of big changes like that, if there are any to be made, come till after the trade deadline. As of right now, I think Landy's working very well on that top line. Nichushkin seems to have kind of found a role next to Brock Nelson that I really like. I could see you maybe being a little more fluid with the Lecky Landy situation, but as of right now, I think it's fairly cemented in Bednar's mind, at least. Now, we could have the argument about, stubbornness and maybe
Sure.
what could work better, what couldn't all day long. But
Yeah, as constructed, I don't mind it. My only concern is the goal scoring ability of that second line. If Brock Nelson isn't scoring for you every night, you need a little bit more from Val. We all know he'll score some and then he'll go 10 games where he won't score any, and then that's just who he is. So that would be my only concern there, but I don't think there's anything like you said, you do not need to mess with this until you know your full lineup from the trade deadline.
Right. And that's why, like you asked the question earlier, why is a big game from who is it most important for to have that big game?
Pick a second liner that isn't Brock Nelson.
Right. Yeah. And at that point, if we're, sitting here cutting off strings too, like that's not who Arturi Lehkonen really is either. Like, he can score the big goal sometimes.
He's not going to have a big pop-off game.
Yeah,
very
you're not going to
often,
sit there and check him off your list every single night. Like Valerian Nichushkin's somebody who you look at as being a contributing factor every night or every other night, which I think if you can get that big goal out of Val Nichushkin, that immediately starts propelling him into confidence mode and, game time mode. And like, we haven't really seen that since 2025.
It would be nice.
Yeah,
it would be nice to get it back.
Seeing him go turbo mode again would be, I think if you're looking at getting that version of the Avs back, like that's one of the first steps.
We're again dealing with small sample sizes on this side of the Olympic break, but if the Avs run up the penalty total again, is it a issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Easy answer there for me. And reason I say is because you're not looking at the best PK in the league anymore. You're looking at a PK third, I believe, last time I looked.
By net, I think it's like 9th because they never score shorties.
So you're not. It used to be like, the Avs take a penalty. Oh, you have full confidence. Like you're maybe allowing one goal on the PK like every couple games, and I don't have a problem with that. Like if that's the worst the PK is gonna get, like I'm okay with that.
Right now you're allowing a PP goal every game. Yeah.
Right. So that's where my issue lies, and if that's gonna continue to be an escalating issue, you can't sit there and rely on your PKers, which has been a highly touted part of this team for the entire season, something that Bednar has fallen really heavily back on, not just because of their success rate, but because of the amount of rotating personnel you have there as well too. So like there's now you have to try it. It becomes that much more difficult to, okay, what's working, what's not. You have to get a little bit more nitpicky with how you're choosing to deploy it. And I don't know. I don't have all that much confidence in it anymore for that to be like this is, like I'm fine. I can sit here and rest easy knowing that our PK unit's out there and they'll be okay.
And even if the power play you feel like is still good, which I think is fair, good, not great, you have no faith in the power play to pick up the slack at all.
No.
So the PK has to be great, not just good. Mm-hmm. Or the power play could get better, but at this point, what is there to say on that?
Right.
Last thing is, of course, our crystal ball. Bailey, you got a score and a name for me? What's going to happen in this game?
Gosh. I'm feeling a 4-2 game.
Okay.
It's one of those nights, I think, for me. And I talked about him briefly, kind of continuing his game. I'm feeling Ross Colton.
Let's go.
I think tonight. I'm looking at some depth scoring. As much as I want the first line to pop off, Ross Colton, I think, has it in him tonight.
I like it. I think we see Mackenzie Blackwood continue to roll. So I'm going to say 3-1, nice and low scoring, but Avs comfortable. Just run back the score total from the Chicago game, but score first and make your life easy. Mm-hmm. Do that. And I'm going to take Cale Makar again. I want to see Cale Makar get on a roll here. Start putting the puck in the back of the net with some consistency. All this talk about how he's not one of the top 3 defensemen in the league is crazy to me. Mm-hmm. Look, if I was picking today, I think Werenski probably wins the Norris, but Makar's definitely a finalist. So
I have to hope Makar's looking at that and being like, all right, it's time to, we let you have your fun a little bit.
Yeah.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cute, but here we go.
The new coach bump is true, but sometimes the new coach bump is a team getting absolutely bodied. It does go the other way sometimes. We are going to wrap it up here. Puck drop coming up in less than 10 minutes. We appreciate everyone hanging out. Come join us for the watch along, or at very least the post game, where Bailey and I will break it all down for you no matter what happens. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Pregame Show, and we will see you in a bit.
We all silly like the mayor.